It's time for us to have a book chat, and for today, we're reviewing a book, My Refreshing Thanksgiving Experience. It's a gratitude journal by Nnenna Sam-Obioha, an experienced customer care service and customer experience professional. Now, it's great to have you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Incidentally, I know, yes, it says a journal. So while I just browsed through, I saw a lot of empty pages. I was like, okay, wait, it's actually a journal. And that's why it's this way. But it says, My Refreshing Thanksgiving Experience. First of all, why should anybody give thanks? Why do you think it is important to give thanks?
I think more often than not, a lot of us focus on what is not working. And we take for granted the things that are working. Now, why it's important to give thanks is because for every time you give thanks, it reminds you of the things that are working that you might take for granted. And so in our society today, we see that a number of people are besieged by depression, anxiety, and all of that. And that's because the focus has shifted from the things that are working well. More often than not, you find out that 90% of things in your life are working well. And then you begin to highlight, your mind begins to highlight only the 10% that is not working. And so the essence of Thanksgiving is to remind you of the beautiful things that are happening in your life whilst you work at achieving the other 10% that are not already working for you. And so that's the importance. I pride myself in my ability to be positive regardless of challenges. And I've seen positivity help me fight challenges. I've seen positivity help me through life challenges. I lost my father last year, for instance. So 2021, this is a new year. In 2021, I lost my mother-in-law in a space of two months, right? And so I was dealing with grief. My husband was also dealing with grief. In addition to dealing with a busy career, dealing with 3 children, dealing with the hustle and bustle of Lagos. So you'll agree with me that that's a lot to deal with. And there's some other things that I can't even share here. But then I found that gratitude took me from that place. And that's why this book is not your typical journal that you find on the shelf that is just empty pages all through. I shared my 7-day Thanksgiving experience, and I saw how that took me from a place of being sad, feeling like some of my expectations were not met, to being genuinely grateful. And I saw testimonies come through for me, yes.
Okay, so you have a 7-day, it's just for 7 days.
Exactly.
Chapter. In the 7th day, you're talking about business. Does each one cover a different aspect of life?
Of my life, yes, it does.
Of your life?
It does.
How can somebody glean from that to help them in their own life?
Okay, so in this book, you don't only find my experiences, you also find the templates that I've shared that can guide you through your Thanksgiving journal. So for instance, there are relatable stories, there are relatable experiences you would see. And so for your career, for instance, what are you grateful for? There are a lot of people on the streets who give anything to be where you are. For your business, for instance, I'm 34 years old. I have 3 businesses at the moment. I have a job, and I've written a book, And so it goes to show you the power of your mind, the things that your mind can do when you begin to appreciate the little things that you do. And I shared something on LinkedIn yesterday, and I said that the only impediment to our succeeding is fear. Faith is risk. And so the moment you begin to see beyond your small circle, you see how much power is available to you. And I said, since the point where I began to give thanks, I became more adventurous and more innovative. I wrote this book, I pushed out this book in October, in 1 week. And I have other articles. I've been writing actively for the past 1 year. I have other articles. Anybody who knows me would have thought that the first thing I would have written would have been on relationships or on customer experience. Because I have numerous articles on those. But then God said to me, push out this book. And since I wrote it, the testimonies that people have shared with me have been incredible. In fact, if you look at social media, in the month of December, you see that on the mouth of pastors, on the mouth of celebrities, everyone is talking about gratitude. Everyone is talking about Thanksgiving. It just goes to show you how much power is available to us when we yield to the voice of God that is on the inside of all of us, and how much we, so I pushed out this book in October, and then in December, Thanksgiving became a thing. Everybody's talking about gratitude. So it looks like every year end, there's a theme for every year. But in the year 2020, it was gratitude.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So now, after your experiences, which you put into 7 chapters and all of that, there's a conclusion, and then you get into the journal. Now, how can one use this journal to get the best out of it?
Okay, so to use it to get the best, I think that as humans, we learn better when we see relatable stories, right?
Okay.
If you read my story, and then I also made sure to put my Instagram handle, because beyond just having this journal as something that you can use on a day-to-day basis, you also need to also see how these things have played out in the lives of common people who are not celebrities yet. You know, you see how these things play out and you see how these things have manifested. So how do you use it in your day-to-day? Writing is therapeutic. Beyond my sharing my experiences, I realize that for every single time I think about things, I'm having a stressful day, and I put pen to paper, I find that it distresses me. And so that's what it does.
So when you writing, that's what you're saying, and then you ensure that you said pen to paper. So, you know, we are in an era where people are moving into, you know, the digital writing. I mean, people are typing on their phones and all that. Some people don't even know how their handwriting looks like after a while. But with this, you are encouraging actual writing with your hands.
Yes, because what happens is a lot of times when you lose your phone, for instance, and say you weren't backing up, you would always go back to this. As they say, as the Bible says, write the vision. Put it on plain tablets, that he may run that reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it may tarry, wait for it. It will come to pass.
Okay, wonderful. Now, this morning, incidentally, there's this post I shared on Instagram, and it was talking about the guts to fail. And understanding that when you are trying things, especially if you're doing new things, you might learn by failing and all of that. How does this come in if you are in that process? Now, you made mention that some people could have 90% of things working in their favor, but there are also times when people have 90% not working in their favor, when majority of it is not working in their favor. How can one be optimistic? Because as at that time, somebody might say, I'm a realist, and that might shift towards pessimism. How can one be optimistic in that scenario where you are in the process of failing, or much more of it is not working at that time?
All right, so the only time you can actually appreciate the opportunities that are available for you goes back to that place of taking risk. And risk is also born out of faith. I read an article that Ibukun Awoshika put out. I read it on Nairametrics. And what she said is, we live in an environment where there are opportunities available to us, and the opportunities are staring us in the face, but it's looking for people who are bold and confident enough to take it on. All right? And so for someone who you say is pessimistic, has only 90% of things working, I don't think those people exist. And I'll tell you why. The reason they don't exist is, first of all, the fact that you can breathe is a huge opportunity. And so if you have life, it means that you have another opportunity at life. I saw a post this morning by, it was Stephanie Linus, and she posted that in November. I just saw it today, where she said, good morning, the morning is God's way of telling you that you can try again. I'm not saying it in the exact words, but that's what it is. And so if you are feeling pessimistic, right, it's because you haven't taken time to actually journal the things that are working in your life.
All right, we get that. So it's about journaling, my refreshing Thanksgiving experience, a gratitude journal. So all that should be here is looking for the things that are working and
yes, you can also write your notes, like your thoughts, your dreams, your goals, everything. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
You might want to tell the users where they can get it, where the buyers. Yeah.
Oh, you have on your social media.
Yes, yes. Light shining in the dark.
All right.
Yes, there's a link in my bio where they can click to buy, and then they can also see the other things I'm doing. I created an app recently for service providers, and I think that that's something everyone will benefit from.
All right. Thank you. Hope you're able to pick up something there. It's about refreshing. It's about giving thanks. We'll take a time out now. Stay with us. There's quite a lot more to come on the show.